hub and wheel assembly install 2001 Dodge. Old guy here ready today. I've already taken it and got it all prepped up. I should have probably recorded that, but it was a crappy day as far as weather. Anyway, it's nice and sunny now. I've cleaned all this up back in here, and I'll try to show you that. Like right in here, I cleaned all that surface off, cleaned this plate off. And one thing I just did that will help you out in a little bit of a problem sometimes. I'll get this around here right eventually. I took the nut and make sure that the axle is pulled into the splines, because there is a little bit of play, and I like to make sure that the axle is not too far in and it missed the splines or something weird. I don't think that's possible, but I want to make sure that it's not. So I put that on there to pull the axle into the splines, just to make sure. And I make sure that there's at least 2 bolts in the top here to hold the hub in place, but loosely in place. So that's where I'm at right now. And we got the parts nice and fast in Sacramento. And if I had a link for the company, I'd give it to you, but I don't have it because it was off eBay and all that stuff. But it was here in 2 days, so that's pretty badass. And it comes with a sensor wire also. So I'll save the old sensor wire since I've been up in the woods a lot. You never know when a stick or something will break one of these wires and your ABS ain't working. If you're on a slick surface, it might be a pain in the ass to try and steer it. So that's why I keep the old one in the glove box. That's what I do with all my little parts, is put them in the glove box. So that's one thing Dodge gives you, is a big glove box. So there you go, folks. We'll get this routed up, and I'll get all these bolts. I'll show you I clean these up. You want to clean these up because they go in so much better. And when you put Loctite on, it sticks to the metal better, because if you got dirt on them and mud, this doesn't stick that well. So I clean them up really nice, you know, on a grinder, on a wire wheel, on a grinder in the shop actually, with a wire wheel. So they're all nice and clean. The Loctite will stick to the metal and the threads, and it'll keep them in there better. But you never know, so it's better to be precautious to doing things like that. And these are all cleaned up, the big bolt to hold the caliper frame on. So we'll get that on there too. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'll stop this for a bit, when I'll be back in a minute when we get ready to do a little more. So I'm tightening these up in the back here. We'll unpause it for a minute, do a little recording. That's in the way, but we'll go ahead and tighten these up in the back here. You get them all, do it kind of want to do cross section of tightening, go from this one and then one up in the far higher up corner on the other side, and then the bottom on the other side, and then the top on this side, just to kind of make it go in straight. Even though I prepped it up, it doesn't mean that I got all the crud off of it. So we're going to go on the bottom here and do this side over here, and I'll be right back. Today I'm not going to gripe about it, but it is pretty nice. So you see I got the wheel turned to get to these 2 front bolts. So I started on this top side, come down here to this side, and I did this one up here like this, and then over here, and then down. That kind of centers up the hub to make sure that it's going in smooth. You don't necessarily have to do that, but it's a good idea, just in case. And I put a little grease on here so this shaft will move in and out nice like it should. It won't when you tighten it down. We'll be moving at all except around and around. So anyway, I'm going to tighten these up and go from there. And hopefully this video will be a little shorter and a little more informative than the last one. But anyway, you should be torquing these, but I've done wrenching so long, I just get them tight. You might want to use a torque wrench. That's totally up to you. Totally up to you. So I'll get these on here, and we'll get the rotor on and start putting the calipers back on and stuff like that. So it's a beautiful day here in Powers, Oregon. Out in the middle of nowhere, but it's still a beautiful day nonetheless. So I'm going to get these all foot tight, I call it. Get these 2 foot tight, and I'll turn it and do the other ones, and then put the power on it when I'm doing. So this one's kind of a drag because it's got the tie rod in the way. Could take it off, make it easier, but nah. Nah, I like to mess. I like to fight things, I guess. I just like to cause myself trouble. My dad always said I like chaos. I guess he's right. I don't know. Don't know. But this one's a pain in the butt because that tie rod's right in the way. And you're going down with it. When you're going up with it, it ain't so bad. But this one's kind of a pain in the butt. I get it on there. You want to go on. Yep. That one's pretty snug down. This one here will get them on there. This dang breaker bar doesn't, the head of it's worn out, so it doesn't doesn't drop down when you need to. No, do it. There's that one. Okay. I'll turn the wheel and do the front one. Let's do them all. So now I'm going to tighten up this side, and I'll hit those other two again. You hear Rodney, the neighbor, in his Corvette, revving her up over there. Pretty nice car, really. I'm doing this backwards, not paying attention. I hope you can see this. I really don't think you can. The sun's really, and I'm a terrible video person. The GoPro things, I guess they work a lot better than the phones. I don't know. But I loosened this like a ding-dong. So I'm going to put it back on the ratchet to get it tightened up. Get a little more in there. There we go. Okay. And that one's ready for tightening, so get out here and get that one tight. Do him first. This is the pull-up one. This feels good. Pull on these things and find out muscles you didn't have. That should be about 125 foot-pounds. Like I say, I've done this crap for a long time. I know how much I can pull. I've taken things apart in the past and just happened to put a torque wrench on them to see where they pop loose at. And I was within 5 pounds, so pretty good. Pretty good. So I trust my work. Anyway. Okay. Okay. Those two are ready. I'll get the other two. First, I wanted to show you this. Show you this right here. These nuts, these bolts right here. Right here, that's what I was talking about, getting dirt on them. Take my trusty little, I don't know if you can see it, darn it. A trusty little grease bucket. And I'll put some grease on those. Yeah, I'll put some grease on these. Just a little bit. Just enough so the dirt. You can take a rag when you ever do these again. The grease will stay on there a long time. So you put grease on them like this, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot. It's not going to get slung around because it stays stationary. And I do all of them. Or you can use the anti-seize. That's usually a little better because it has more consistency. The anti-seize does. But in my case, I can't find it. It's in my mess somewhere in there. And I've been kind of depressed lately. So anyway, you can see what I'm doing here. Put a little grease on these. And make sure. That way if I need to take them apart, they'll be, just wipe them off. It does help. It doesn't fix everything, but it does help. It does help. That's for sure. So, that said, I'm going to turn the wheel and tighten these, and I'll be right back. So, I got these backing nut, these bolts, got them Loctited, got them ends greased, got them torqued down, tightened down, and now the hub's on there, looking pretty fine. And sometimes I used to put these axle nuts on, okay? I used to put those on so I didn't forget them or whatever. I don't do that anymore. Because that way, I know they're not tight. I leave them off. I don't put them on until I'm going to tighten them. That way, there's no question. I used to take a paint pencil and put a dot on everything I touched. Make sure they're tight. Those are tight. You get a white dot on them. And just like these bolts I put back in here, my paint pencil is pretty cold right now, so I'm going to have to rely on my own ability. However, I put dots on there to make sure that they were tightened. And a lot of shops do that, and it's a very good idea, and it's good to do as a homeowner or a novice mechanic or do-it-yourself or whatever you want to call it. It does make a lot of difference in the effects of what you're doing. So anyway, it's a little heads up on things I do and other people I know do. So got these big old bad bolts here all cleaned up and ready to put on. These are the ones that go through here into the caliper cage, right here, right there. So we'll be putting that on next. And I got the anti-squeak. Remember I was talking about the anti-squeak in the other video about the brakes rattling. Well, that's what that goes on. This goes on right here. Just not like that, but it does go on there like so. Like so. And it will hold on. The brakes go up in here. Okay, the brakes pads go up in these, and that holds them there and keeps them from rattling. So anyway, these should fit tight, but these are used ones. I don't know where the other one went. Sometimes these little tabs will break off, and as you use a brake, it'll push it till it falls out. So it's good to make sure that these tabs are set. These little tabs, I don't know if you can see them, little tabs on the ends. Make sure they're set on the end of that bevel. So, and you can squish them a little bit, make them tighter. I just leave them alone and put them in when I put the pads on. That's just me. So in the meantime, we'll be doing that. We'll be putting this cage on, then we'll put the caliper on and go from there. So that's what we're going to do next. Hope you enjoy the videos. I'm not very good at this stuff. I try to be humorous, try to just be myself. I'll never grow up, that's for sure. I hope my tips don't, use my advice in your own discretion. I'm not saying it's for everybody, so, I don't want anybody to go down the road in a minivan and have a bad situation. So, anyway, with that said, we'll get moving now. And of course, this doesn't go like this or like this over here. It goes on the back. Okay? So it's self-explanatory how it goes. All right? But you got to put the rotor on first, I think, is the deal with these. Something ain't right, that's for darn sure. Maybe it goes like this. Nope, it's got to go like that. Something ain't right. Hope that's the right damn hub. Something ain't right. Huh, I'll figure this out and I'll be right back. I'm a brainiac today. I'm excited to get my Dodge squared away where I can go hit the job sites and look for work. Got a lady that loves me. I love her and I got to take care of things. Plus I don't want to lose my house. Anyway, now you put the rotor on like so. And I usually use a couple lug nuts to just keep it straight. Because it can be a pain in the butt with that thing flopping around. Yes, it can. If you've done any automotive, you know that it can be a pain in the butt. So, I'm looking for my adapter. My adapter got me under dapper. Anyway, there you go. What happens when you talk to yourself on the radio for so many years? What do you think about it? I'm in a booth for 6 hours a day. How many years? Kind of get crazy. Not really. It's fun. It's a really fun job, actually. See, these will hold it up. Hold it up there nice for you. Nice and sturdy. Now we see what's going on. So, now I'll put these bad boys on. These dudes back here, we'll put that on. And I don't know if you want to watch the whole damn thing or not, but I guess you do, you will. If you don't, you won't. I got Loctite on these already. Some guys argue about Loctite. Loctite, I don't care. I do it anyway. 30 years of wrenching. I've done so many damn different jobs. It's amazing how many opportunities I've blown or made the wrong choice and left or whatever. I've had a lot of trades in my time. I just wanted to challenge, I guess. That's what my dad always said. You don't challenge. You get a job down and you want to go to a new one to learn new shit. But it didn't pay off very good in the end. No, not really. It was fun, but it didn't really pay off. Steady as she goes, man. The Recantors, a song called Steady as She Goes. Check it out. Recantors. They're a pretty cool band from the 70s, I believe. And somewhere right there. Kind of radical music, but it's all right. It's like before the people dress in black and all that crap. What is that? Goth stuff came out. It was right about that time, if I remember right. So anyway, get these tight and go from there. I'm thinking ahead while I'm doing this. I gotta make sure I put this on the bottom, remember? The top one was gone, so it was let my brake shoes rattle. And they go only one way, really. I mean, you kind of self-explanatory. The shoes got to be over here on that side of the rotor and this side. So this one's got shorter over here, so it matches flush on this side, just so you know, on the upper side, not the bottom. You just fight it if you put them backwards. So I've done that before. You just thought, hey, I'll take a remote. Yeah. And that's why we tie up the caliper. I don't want to break that hose. That's the one that can be a problem, child. So we got that one snugged up. Go down here, get this one. And I'll go ahead and tighten these, and I'll be right back, and I'll get everything ready for the brake pads. Hope you guys can see some of this. I hope you guys can see some of this. because the lighting's really bad because I'm doing it outside, you know. Anyway, I put these nuts in, tighten them down. I'm going to tighten them again. I'm going to put the caliper on before I tighten them again because the caliper's hanging up there. And when I turn it, wants to wiggle it around, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on. So now we'll put the brake shoes on, the brake pads rather. The one without the squeaker goes on the back, okay? Keep that in mind when you're putting these on. Squeaker goes out in the front, not in the back. So sometimes it can be a bear getting these in here. I may have should have done this different. Probably should have put these on before I bolted the bottom down. So I'll loosen that up. Now I can pull this out. I forgot about that. I usually do that. Leave this nut out, bolt out the bottom so I can get the chute pad on the back side, and then I snug it down. I forgot about that. But I did it. No big deal. We can get her fixed. Nothing broken, nothing hurt. I'll take this one out, put it on its head because it's got Loctite on it, and I don't want it in the dirt. So I'll pull this one up like this, where I can get in there with this. And it should slide right in there, but it's not wanting to, so we're gonna have to manipulate it a little bit. I'm gonna have to do something different here. I'm probably doing it the wrong way. If I know me. If I know me, I'm doing it the wrong way. There's a trick to this. There it is. There we go. I knew it would go. Didn't you? I did. Oh, ye of little faith. Here we go. Put this one in there. And I'll put the other pad on. And we'll slide the caliper on. And then we'll be ready to go. Yeah, just tighten those up so when I turn the wheel, I'll tighten them again before I put the actual tire on. Okay, so we got the one pad in. And this is your squeaker right here. See that little tab sticking out there? When that gets down so close on the rotor, you hear it squeaking. Well, I can't get it to squeak, but there you go. You hear that? You hear that squeaking? That's your pads telling you they're worn out. The pads are too thin. That hits. This here hits on the rotor. You hear a squeak, 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 squeak. That lets you know your pads are worn out. So, there you go. There's a little treat for you there. So that goes on the outside, if I remember right. It probably does. Probably doesn't. Knowing my luck. Give you bad information. You want to kick my ass. Anyway, that goes in there like that. The squeaker's down here. And I guess you could probably put it on the inside, but I don't. I always put it on the outside. I'm pretty sure that's where it goes. Because you got this bump right here. And all that stuff I think's in the way. You can't really see it probably. So put it on the outside. Save you a bunch of bullshit. Okay. So there we go. We got that on there. We'll get the caliper. And we'll get this on there. Hope this is interesting because I'm thinking you guys already know how to do this stuff. So you don't really need me to tell you. Okay. Now you'll notice the caliper has these dogs on it, okay? I don't know if you can see them. But there's dogs on them right here that go in these metal brackets on the bottom, the squeakers. So these go, the one goes on top. Try to get it in there. Best you can, get your pads in and all that shit and then put those on. Slide it in at the same time. God, I hope I squished this enough to get it in there. Maybe I didn't. I thought I did. I would have bet money I did. So we're gonna kind of entice it here a little bit and get it to go in there. Yeah, I thought that I did, but I wasn't sure. Looks like I need to pry her out a little bit more. So we'll do that by doing this. That pushes the pistons in, so you got a little more room. I didn't gain a lot of room though, did I? Didn't look like it. Huh. Well, I'll mess with this and I'll be right back. Okay, now you're gonna notice, if I can get this on here good enough for you, to see that there's a tab right here. Can you see that? Dang it, I doubt it. Darn it. There's a tab right here on the bottom of the caliper. It goes in that little metal bracket. And there's also one here at the top. Dang it, you can't see this stuff. And then also you want to make sure that this gets in here, behind the back, okay? That's where you'd put grease if you want, but I'm not going to this time. So those little dogs got to be in there so you can do that. I hope you can see that. But anyway, I'm doing what I can. So we got to put these bolts in with the rubbers on them. Now, you see these bolts, they have this taper on this little locking area on the top, right? This area right here. And so in the sun, maybe that'll be better. See that little, that's where the rubber hook's on. It's got when it goes in this rubber in the back, right here, this will go in and it'll tighten. Pull that rubber into those grooves. That way it helps keep the water and dirt off of these. You can't put grease on these because the caliper does slide on these. If you want to, that's up to you. I tend to put a little bit on it, but usually the rubber wipes it off when you put the bolt on anyway. So the best way to do it, if you're going to do it and you want to do it, is put the grease inside the rubber, like that, okay? That way it ain't wiping it off the bolt as you put it in. So if you wipe it off, how good is it, right? Anyway, moving right along. Put this in here like so. You get it lined up, tighten it up, and it takes that number 6 Allen wrench, remember? So that's what we're going to use. And make sure when you get these tight, push your boot back on again. Okay, on the boot back on the bolt. That'll keep the water and the grease, or water and dirt off these, so your calipers can slide. So, here we go. I'm almost done. So, it doesn't take very long to do this once you got all your tools set up and you're ready to go. And it doesn't take very long to do this. Most of the messing around and blabbing, goofing off is most of it. It takes the time. So anyway, I'll tighten these up just by hand, and then I'll put a wrench. I'll put it on the short side and take a wrench and cheat it. You know, make a cheater out of it. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Make a cheater out of it. Right there, tightening that one up. They go in pretty far, and that way it stops right there. See, that rubber just pops on by itself. So that's good. Don't have to worry about it. It just goes poop, pops right in those grooves. It makes your life a little bit easier, better, because the grease, the dirt, mostly on the passenger side, because most of the water and stuff's on the ditch side of the road. So you get a lot of stuff spraying up off that tire. So the passenger side is the one that takes a beating, more so than the driver's side, as a rule. Some of us go 4x and torture everything, so that's different than the average, I'll say, soccer mom or whatever, not meaning anything mean. But, you know, people don't go into 4-wheel drive modes a lot, out in the brush and stuff. But, hope these little tidbits of information help you. I'll get this one tight. See that rubber popped on there again? Probably because I had the grease on it, so it just popped in its little self. See, I'll make the long side out here. Just make it easy on myself. Put a wrench on it, tighten it up. You know what tight is, so just get them tight. I don't know what the torque is. I rely on my muscle and my feel, and nothing's ever come apart. So I had one come back. Of all the transmissions I built in my life, I had one that came back. So that's pat. Anyway, I'm tightening this up. It's a pretty good ratio. 30 years of off and on. I don't do it every day, but what I do is good. So you can see the rotors, the calipers kind of loose a little bit. And when the shoes come in, the pads come in, it'll tighten it up. Because it's just loose on this area here and this area here. It's not loose on it, it's going to fly off, okay? Because these bolts right here are the two that hold that on. Without them two little puny ass bolts, they ain't going to fall off. But the puny bolts don't really matter too much. It just keeps it there and allows it a slide rail. This is what keeps it on the rig, this cage. So, with that said, I think I'll pause it and go roll me a nasty old thingy. I know I realize kids are watching this, so I don't want to promote anything like, you know, stuff like cigarettes and anything like that. So I'll be back in a minute, and then we'll finish this bad boy up. Okay, I'm back again. It's funny. Okay, you can see that these, you probably figured that out. These have little grippy things on them. Little clippy things for the old, this one you gotta just kind of pull out, because there should be a new one on here. Yeah, see, it's got the little barb thing right here, little barb thing that goes on it, and that goes right in that hole. So you just take a screwdriver or something and pop this out of there and make it work, make it easier on yourself. Or you can just cut it off, I guess. pair of nippers. I don't have the right ones out here. So anyway, you get the point. You get that out of there and go from there. I'll get that out. I'll be right back. And another thing too, there is another little grabby thing up here. You'll probably figure that out. If you do one of these, you'll see where it goes. So I just pull this one out of the way because we're going to run this one up beside it, you know, up where it goes. We'll get this out of here. I'll do that when I open the hood. We'll pull that out. And I'll show you where to hook this up when we get done. We get done with that. So just wanted to make you aware of that. These do come with them, and you can clip them on where they go. It's pretty easy to do. Just follow the same sequence. These do move on the hose, so you can move them in different places. This one looks like it's off a little bit, so I'm going to put it down here a little ways and bring this over here like so. And with that wire, if you can see, I'm going to kind of make it go this way, kind of like that, but I'll bring this little clip over here farther. So the wire's not touching, you know, right here or anything. It's just kind of hanging in limbo. So that's what I'm doing right now. Getting that little guy on there. So I'll get this all ran. You get the idea.